This is Mike, a night security guard at Freddy's, and this is Abby, Mike's sister, who is abducted by the 5 bunnies. In this video, I'm going to show you how Mike battles the 5 bunnies to save his sister. Terrified security guard tries to escape through an air duct, but is captured and knocked out. When he wakes up, he's strapped to a chair with a bear-shaped mask being lowered onto his face. He screams. Mike, a mall security guard, witnesses a man scoop up a little girl and carry her away. Mike chases him down and violently tackles and beats him, only to discover that the man is the girl's father. Mike is fired. A career counselor offers Mike a solo job as a night security guard at Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, which has been closed since the 1980s. The counselor explains that the owner is paranoid about vandalism and keeps a single guard on duty overnight. He thinks Mike is a good fit for the job because he doesn't have to interact with others. Mike declines, saying he's not available for night shifts. Mike arrives home to find an eviction notice on his door. Inside, he greets the babysitter, Max, and his younger sister, Abby, who is drawing. Mike raises Abby alone. That night, Mike falls asleep under a poster of a Nebraska forest, listening to a cassette tape of nature sounds. In his dream, he is camping in the woods with his parents and younger brother, Garrett. While playing, Mike loses track of Garrett. When he finally finds him, Garrett is being abducted. Mike watches helplessly as a stranger drives away with Garrett in the car. The next day, Mike meets with his Aunt Jane and her lawyer. Jane is trying to get custody of Abby, likely to receive government aid for raising her. The caseworker initially sides with Mike, noting that he is the center of Abby's world in all her drawings. However, the caseworker warns Mike that he must get a job to keep custody. With no other choice, Mike calls the career counselor and accepts the night security job at Freddy's. Mike leaves Abby in Max's care and heads to the closed pizzeria. He finds an old cassette tape that shows Freddy's as a fun family environment. As he watches, Mike is startled when he finds a small statue of Balloon Boy in a locker. He soon falls asleep and again dreams of Garrett's abduction. This time, however, a group of kids wearing animal or pirate costumes are present. Mike asks who they are, but the children run away. He wakes up and returns home. Meanwhile, Jane is meeting with Max and his brother Jeff at a diner. It turns out that Jane hired Max to look through Mike's belongings while babysitting in order to find incriminating evidence that she can use against him in the custody battle. Max insists that Mike has nothing to hide, other than the fact that he sleeps an abnormal amount of time. Jeff and Jane then concoct a plan to ransack the pizzeria so that Mike will be fired yet again. That night, Mike brings the Nebraska poster and tape of nature sounds to his job at Freddy's and falls asleep. In his dream of Garrett's abduction, he again encounters the strange children. The kids run away again, but Mike catches one of them and demands to know who they are and what they know. The kid scratches Mike on the arm with a pirate hook before Mike wakes up to the sound of someone at the door. Mike opens the door to find Vanessa, a police officer whose beat covers Freddy's. She goes inside and clearly knows the place, saying she went there as a kid and it used to be the happiest place on earth. Vanessa notices the scratch on Mike's arm and bandages it. She then tells Mike that Freddy's was shut down after some kids went missing there in the 1980s. Vanessa takes Mike to the entertainment room and turns on the power. A number of animatronics power up, including Freddy, Chica, Bonnie, Foxy, and Mr. Cupcake. The animatronics sing and dance before the power goes out. As Mike and Vanessa leave Freddy's, she mentions that no security guard has ever lasted in the job. After Mike and Vanessa leave for the day, Max, Jeff, and 2 of their friends break into Freddy's. They start stealing valuables and trashing the place. The animatronics wake up and start moving off the stage. One of the friends finds Chica and Mr. Cupcake. Chica throws Mr. Cupcake at him, and it eats his face off. The other friend is stalked and eventually killed by Bonnie, who repeatedly slams his head into a door. Mr. Cupcake and Foxy catch Jeff. Max sees a child running through the pizzeria and follows the child into a room where she sees the Freddy animatronic. The child's voice calls out from inside the animatronic, and Max walks over to get a better look. Freddy then comes to life and bites Max in half. The next day, Vanessa stops by Mike's house to meet Abby. She tells Mike about the break-in and claims that he left the doors unlocked. She then hands Mike a bottle of sleeping pills she found there and asks why he has them. Mike confides in Vanessa that he's still haunted by Garrett's abduction. His parents died soon after, leaving him to raise Abby. He's been forcing himself to dream about the abduction in hopes that he'll remember a clue that will lead him to find the abductor. He explains that by falling asleep while looking at the Nebraska poster and listening to the nature sounds he saw and heard at the time of the incident, he can force himself to dream about the abduction. He says his dreams have never been as vivid as when he's been sleeping at the pizzeria. Since Max is dead, Mike is forced to bring Abby to Freddy's. He puts her to sleep in a small pillow fort, cleans up the damage caused by the break-in, and gets scared again by the balloon boy statue before going to sleep. Abby wakes up before him and starts to wander around the pizzeria. In his dreams, Mike asks the kids if they were the ones abducted in the 1980s. They say yes. When he asks who abducted them, they point to a drawing of a rabbit they made in the dirt. Mike is then woken up by his sister's screams. He runs to find her surrounded by the animatronics, but they are tickling her instead of attacking her. The animatronics clearly like Abby, and she gives them hugs and pictures she made. On the way home, Abby says that the animatronics are possessed by ghosts, and the ghosts are making them move. The next night, Mike and Abby return to Freddy's to find Vanessa already there. It is clear that Vanessa knows that the animatronics are sentient. The humans and animatronics play games together. Mike eventually finds some time to have a private talk with Vanessa. She is angry at him for bringing Abby to Freddy's. To show him how dangerous the animatronics can be, she takes him to a back room where the animal outer shells and electronic skeletons that are placed inside the shells are kept. The shells are locked to the electronic skeletons using a spring mechanism that clamps onto the skeleton. If the spring mechanism were to clamp onto a human, it would almost certainly kill them. Vanessa then warns Mike to stop looking for Garrett's abductor and never to bring Abby back to Freddy's. Mike isn't willing to give up his job or the chance to find out what happened to Garrett, but he also doesn't want to put Abby in danger. So, he calls Joan and asks her to babysit Abby while he goes to work. In his dream, one of the mysterious children finally agrees to talk to Mike. The child confirms that they are the same children who were abducted like Garrett, and that they are now the ghosts who possess the animatronics. The child offers to let Mike have happy dreams where Garrett and Mike's parents are still alive. All they want in return is to play with Abby forever. Mike initially accepts the deal, but then changes his mind. The kids attack him in the dream, and when Mike wakes up, he is knocked out by Foxy. Meanwhile, Freddy shows up at Mike's apartment and knocks out Jane. He asks Abby to come with him to the pizzeria to play, and she agrees. The pair get into a taxi, freaking out the taxi driver. When Mike recovers, he finds himself strapped to a chair with the killer Freddy mask from the beginning of the film being lowered onto him. He manages to escape with the aid of Vanessa, who mysteriously appears. Vanessa explains that a man named William Afton created Freddy's and wore a yellow bunny suit to abduct and kill children, including Garrett. When the police began investigating, he hid some of the children's bodies in the animatronic suits. When William found out that the children's ghosts later possessed the animatronics, he corrupted them into thinking he was their father. Mike realizes the danger Abby is in and asks Vanessa to help him save her. She tearfully says she can't help, but gives Mike information on a way to sneak into Freddy's. She also tells him that the animatronics can be incapacitated by electricity and hands him a taser. Mike sneaks into Freddy's and watches as Chica takes Abby to a back room. He tases Freddy and Bonnie before following Chica. In the back room, he sees Chica and Mr. Cupcake trying to load Abby into a marionette-like animatronic. Mike tases Chica and Mr. Cupcake, while Abby wriggles out of the suit just in time to avoid being impaled by the spring lock mechanism. The siblings embrace, and Mike says he would never give up Abby. As they are about to leave, the yellow bunny arrives. It starts fighting Mike as Foxy chases Abby. Just when it seems that Foxy will catch Abby, Vanessa tases it. Vanessa then confronts the yellow rabbit, calling him Dad. The rabbit removes its mask to reveal himself as the career counselor. He changed his identity from William Afton after Freddy's was closed. Vanessa begs her father, William Afton, to stop what he's doing, but he coolly walks up to her and stabs her. Meanwhile, Mike tells Abby to remind the animatronics of who William really is. Abby draws a picture depicting William in the yellow bunny suit killing the children. This undoes William's corruption, and the animatronics turn on him. In the ensuing scuffle, the spring lock mechanism in the yellow bunny suit is activated and impales William. As he bleeds, William screams out to Mike that he'll be back. He always comes back. The animatronics then drag William's body to the back rooms. Mike and Abby drag Vanessa out of Freddy's. Some time later, Mike and Abby's relationship has improved. They visit Vanessa in the hospital, where she is in a coma. At home, Abby says she feels bad that the ghost children are now truly alone, as William is no longer paying security guards to spend the night at Freddy's. She asks Mike if they can one day visit Freddy's again, and he replies that maybe someday they will. Meanwhile, at Freddy's, William is still alive, though trapped inside the yellow bunny suit. In a post-credit scene, the taxi driver is startled when he turns to the back seat and sees the balloon boy statue sitting there. Like and comment if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to my channel for more movie recaps. And tell me what movie recap you like to see next in the comments below. Like and comment if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to my channel for more movie recaps.